Dr. Sinan Ciddi is a senior fellow on Turkey at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Welcome to the program, Sinan. So, I mean, it's a good time for Erdogan, isn't it? He's winning in Syria. He's repairing ties with Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Is Erdogan slowly but surely winning over the Arab world? And is this a cause for concern?
Well, he's certainly trying. I mean, it's a long way since he called Egypt's leader Sisi a murderer and that he would never talk to him. And he's done a remarkable job of performing one of his infamous sort of 180s and re-engaged Egypt. And obviously, he's helped out Sisi in places like, Libya. He's sort of provided the Egyptian regime assurances and jointly worked with them to provide weapons to different parts of the Libyan regime in order to stabilize that for Egypt. But also in talks with Saudis, as you just mentioned, like he's really making his rounds. But I think this is more about essentially Erdogan corralling support to sort of put on these so-called talks to prevent conflict over Iran. I mean, he's really pulling out all the stops to essentially say, there should be no military escalation and strike against Iran. And that's what I think he's really angling for. That seems to be the main focus of his initial visits right now that we're seeing.
What is Erdogan's interest in keeping the Iranian regime alive?
Simple. He'd rather have the mullah's regime intact, which would allow Iran to continue, albeit a weakened Iran, to continue funding its proxy networks to keep Israel weakened. Look, we know that he's been trying to sort of push into the space of augmenting Turkey's power and presence in the Middle East and the Eastern Mediterranean. One way to do that is have a weakened Iran, not a collapsed Iran, certainly not an Iran that has the potential to become a full-fledged democratic ally of the West. But in doing so, the Iranian regime keeps its proxy networks alive. It basically becomes beholden to Ankara and essentially allows Israel to focus on counterterrorism with Hezbollah and Hamas, while essentially Erdogan continues to sort of posture and elbow his way in as this sort of greater power in the Middle East.
And Turkey and Israel have a clash of interest in multiple arenas, of course, not least Erdogan's embrace of the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas. There are also energy concerns in the Eastern Mediterranean. Erdogan is very unhappy about this developing alliance between Israel, Greece and Cyprus. Do you think that we could be heading for some kind of confrontation?
Look, everybody's worried about this. We've seen both from the Israeli side, but we've also now starting to see through the European and American side that Turkey is really sort of posturing in a way that is not making many countries and state actors comfortable. And I should add that we don't have concrete evidence of this yet, but there are credible reports emerging that suggest that Turkey is also involved in providing material assistance to what's left of Hezbollah in Lebanon as we speak, and in the past 12 months in sort of concerning ways. And that's just another sort of pointer to the extent that, look, Erdogan's not messing about. He is capitalizing upon every opportunity to essentially sort of define himself as the strong man, but as the premier sort of hegemon and aspiring power in the Middle East.
Yeah, I have heard analysts refer to a possible link with Turkish-occupied Cyprus and Hezbollah. Is that something you're familiar with?
Correct. That's certainly one source that we're sort of tracking, but also there are other sort of channels whereby Turkey is alleged to essentially be the new land bridge that has been allowing shipments of weapons and munitions to go through Syrian territory on its way to Lebanon. So these are, as of now, unconfirmed, but we are hearing them from so many different sides as we talk to sort of regional experts and analysts and even, dare I say, sort of diplomatic sources, that those alarm bells should be taken seriously.
You've just written a piece on the potential line of succession in Turkey. And there is speculation, isn't there, that 71-year-old Erdogan, who's not in particularly good health, he's been in power for 23 years, that term could one day be coming to an end. One candidate in the firing line is his son.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, you see Erdogan whenever he's attending sort of talks and summits and with leaders, he's looking frail. There are reports that he gets frequently sick. We just don't have any accurate sense of his sort of health from sort of unbiased sources. Bottom line is this. He is interested in taking a leap towards succession because he knows he's not going to last forever. He's opting for his son, which I think is more dangerous as an option if he can anoint him, simply because I think, and not just me, but people who think like me, believe that Bilal Erdogan, his son, is even more ideologically rigorous and committed to an Islamist path than his father, who does have some sort of track record for taking practical and pragmatic decisions. But yes, they have started this sort of road of succession, and Erdogan's not wasting time.
Dr. Sinan Ciddi, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.